Hello and welcome to Warhammer 40,000 Rogue Trader. I'm Shadow Coast and welcome to the channel. We are covering Cassia in this early access alpha version. So as a quick reminder, the early access version does start in Act 2, so our characters are all level 15 across the board. So we're going to review Cassia as she stands as a character, her abilities, skills, weapons, progression, and backstory to date. We are starting at the very beginning of Act 2, so I'm limiting spoilers to the best degree possible. If you want to see more and learn more, I do have an active playthrough that I'm posting. Be sure to check it out, but that will include spoilers. So without further ado, we are going to take a look at Cassia, our resident navigator. She has some unique abilities, one of which is lidless stare, which is a psyker ability that is pretty powerful. So let's go ahead and use it to see it in action here. Alright, we took out a bunch, which is nice, and damaged some other ones. So Cassia is our resident navigator. She actually does have two different weapons, both range, marksman rifle and auto pistol. I should say she starts with the marksman rifle and the auto pistol. Let's take a look at her skills. We covered her weapons here. Auto pistol does have pistol burst shot for 2 AP and single shot. Now looking at her characteristics, she actually has relatively low weapon skills and ballistic skills. You can see here we're going to favor ballistic skills. It's a little bit higher, but this is nothing to write home to. When we think about ballistic skills, I like to use Argenta as a baseline. She is a soldier, so focus on combat and ballistics. So 45 is good, 35 is just okay. I will say more often than not, you're going to want to use lidless stare. Her psyker ability, although you do want to be careful and manage your veil thickness. Now, one of the things that's interesting here is I actually don't think lidless stare necessarily increases veil thickness or decreases veil thickness, depending on how you're looking at it. I haven't really noticed it changed compared to Adira, who is an actual psyker. So there is a difference here. Cassia is a navigator with some psionic abilities. She does not have a psyker rating like Adira does, so I'm actually thinking, now that I'm looking at this and thinking about it, lidless stare might not have an impact on our psychic meter. So with that in mind, strength relatively low. Her toughness is okay at 40, lower agility, okay intelligence, perception, really high willpower. High willpower allows the character to exert control over a crowd of near-riding have-workers or interrogate a captured heretic. It also often used when wielding and resisting psychic powers. So she does have a predisposition to resist psychic powers, which is useful being a navigator. And she has a bonus to fellowship. This is because she is a leader, but by no means is her fellowship something to write home to. So one of the things when we look at the leader traits, which we're going to dive into here in a minute, we want to be thoughtful between who's a leader in our party. If we have no other leaders in the party, then you're going to want to try to increase her fellowship to the highest degree possible. Although if you do roll someone with fellowship, your rogue trader, and they have a bonus to it, like Imperial World for example, you're going to want to maybe use more of the leader abilities on your rogue trader than Cassia, because a lot is linked to fellowship, although not all the moves are. So let's get into that. Looking at her tier 1 career, she does come in as a leader. Looking at the leader tree, she has all the leader moves. This one is interesting, we'll get to it in a minute, because I don't actually see the ability to use it. So as a leader, the first move is voice of command. One of the cool things about voice of command is it's actually linked to other moves you're going to see here. So a lot of times when you're using this, you're going to want to pop voice command and then other moves to provide an augmented benefit to your allies. The leader forces an ally to make every effort, increasing their characteristics by 5 plus 2 times the leader's bonus. That's the fellowship bonus for 1 turn. In this case, it's 3. Additionally, all the leader's abilities can be applied on the target of voice command from at any distance. After an effect, the target cannot be overexerted again for 2 turns. So there is some downside. PSA, I believe these are placeholders. I don't see a PSA in the skills or characteristics. Move. The target ally immediately gains additional movement points equal to the leader's foe bonus. In this case, it's 3 because she has 3 here. It's basically the number divided by 10, and then you round down. it seems like. If the target is under voice of command effect, it ignores attacks of opportunity for 1 turn. So this is really helpful if you have Abelard or Pascal or your rogue trader, who if you use closer to a tick, if they're in a bad situation and you need to get them out of there or reposition, you're going to want to pop voice of command and then move so they don't get attacks of opportunity against them. Our heroic ability is objective secured. I'm actually going to pop out here and take a look. So before we have objective secured, we have Hill to Die On. So the way this works is as we gain momentum, we unlock the ability to trigger or use these other abilities. So the less souped up version, the like regular act, if you could call it that, is Desperate Measure. The leader defines the area that needs to be captured in 1 turn. First successful attack of an ally within the area does not spend AP or trigger weapon cooldowns. If the area is secure from enemies before the leader's next turn, all allies that killed enemies within the range will gain an extra turn. That's huge. Otherwise, all allies within the area become stoned and exposed for 1 round, suffering plus 50% incoming damage. So Hill to Die On, there's huge benefit, but also huge downside. However, when we look at objective secured, the heroic act, which will take more momentum to trigger, the leader defines the area. So same thing here. However, the opposite occurs. If the area, you don't have a downside, so there's no negative effect here if you don't kill everyone. However, you get the added bonus. If the area is secure from enemies before the leader's next turn, all allies that killed enemies within the area will gain an extra turn, while the zone itself will turn into a strong point for 5 rounds. Strong point is the area of the same size as the captured one. All allies within gain half the leader's spell bonus, in this case 3 to damage, so plus 3 to damage. Gain half the leader's willpower bonus to armor deflection. Willpower is 50, so that's 5. That's awesome. And add the leader's double fell bonus to all characteristics. Add the leader's double fell bonus to all. So I'm assuming that we get plus 6 to all characteristics, which is really helpful, especially with toughness if we're in like a poison cloud. All right, let's get back to taking a look here. We have Emperor's Blessing. Get back in the fight is the move. Ability also increases toughness of a leader, a target, and allies within 3 cell radius of the target by 5 plus 2 times leader's spell bonus. So this is 5 plus 6, so 11. That's really helpful if you're in a poison cloud or something toxic. If we take a look at toughness, it really helps with those environmental negative elements. FAA placeholder, I believe, CSA placeholder. Then we have Bring It Down. This is a really useful move. The target ally immediately gains a bonus turn with no movement points and action points, so the leader's fellow bonus divided by 2. So in this case, we have 1.5 rounds down to 1. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and pop this on. I'm just going to pick Adira. Bring It Down. Adira has 1 attack point. We can use different options. We're going to go ahead and use... Nope, that's not available. So we'll just use a regular shot. Then we end our turn and it goes back to Cassia. So Bring It Down is really helpful. I personally like to use it on Argenta a lot. But that's just for the purposes of this, we did Adira just to show how it works. So Bring It Down. If an ally is under voice of command effect, they gain an additional plus 2 times leader fell bonus, momentum. So if we want to be able to move, we're going to pop voice of command and then Bring It Down. And just for reference, voice of command I think is, let's get back in the fight. Voice of command is 1 AP, Bring It Down is 2. So that's 3 out of 4 AP, which is a fair amount to think about using if we want that movement bonus. Inspiring Words, this one evades me. I don't think it's in the game yet because we don't have the option to use it. Using Keep Fighting ability increases Righteous Fury chance of the target and allies within 3 cell radius from a leader by 3 plus leader's foe bonus percent. So that's plus 6%. Use Keep Fighting. So when we have Get Back in the Fight, so maybe it's Get Back in the Fight that triggers this. I'm not entirely certain, but if you actually look at this, it is a little confusing because like these have icons to like take action. This one has the same thing as it, so I'm wondering if it's linked to Bring It Down, and it's just a mistake. So I can't tell if this hits or not. I will say though, when I use Bring It Down on Argenta, we do see a lot of Righteous Fury, so maybe this is augmenting Bring It Down and it's just a typo. I don't have any actually definitive evidence either way. WAA placeholder, LI placeholder. We have get back in the fight. The leader encourages a target ally to immediately recover from burning, bleeding, toxin, and stun effects. If the target is under voice of command effect, it gains +2 times leader's foe bonus temporary wounds. So basically additional health. Wounds, health. Basic, the easiest way for me to explain. Go, go, go. The leader grants an additional turn to all allies within 2 cell radius from the chosen target with movement points equal to the leader's foe bonus, in this case 3. So that's helpful if you want to disperse and you have a crowd and you're about to take AoE damage, or you just are trying to like rush an enemy with a group. You can go, go, go and get them to move further up faster. TAA is a placeholder. So that is all the leader skills. One thing that I want to kind of call out here is when we think about leader, she's now positioned to become a strategist or a vanguard. Given her stats and how she's more of a true leader, kind of augmenting other players because she's not great with weapons, and she doesn't have a lot of 35 hit points. We have 40, 33. I mean, she has some hit points, but when we kind of look at her gear and stuff, I don't know if she can wear something super heavy. Let me see. Can we put this on her? Well, we're in the middle of a battle, so I'm gonna have to experiment with that. But long story short, when we think about our progression, we're probably gonna go with strategist, which will be kind of doubling or tripling down on our ability to help the group position and do augmented damage or take more actions. So hopefully you found this video helpful. If you did, please drop a thumbs up. If you're interested in watching Cassia in action, you can be sure to check out, or feel free to check out, my criminal Lord Pirate Rogue Trader playthrough, is what I'm calling it. We'll take on or make some questionable decisions given our backstory I'm kind of putting together as we play through. Although if you don't want any spoilers, please be sure to skip that and wait until you can get your hands on the actual game. So far I'm really enjoying the alpha early access version. This is probably one of the cleanest alphas I've played so far, knock on wood. So hopefully it keeps up. Thanks for watching. Shadow Coast out.